Welcome everybody to MFSN The Hub. I'm Ross the Boss. That's Casey Vlad to the Bone Scheinfeld, and we're here to talk football with you. Casey, let's start with your New York Giants. What a game last night.
Man.
I mean, DeVito, 3 games in a row, winner, 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 chicken dinner.
Yeah.
I mean, I love his agent. His agent looks like he's like one of the Sopranos. I don't know if you saw.
I think he
He's
dressed
on our
that
cover.
way. I think he did it on purpose for the act.
I hope so. I enjoy
it was part of the press.
I enjoy it, but you know what? What's your thoughts on DeVito, Casey? Do you think he'll have a home in New York next year?
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, if we're talking fantasy, I don't ever see him being the most fantasy relevant quarterback, but certainly if he's taken this as kind of his probationary period to prove to the Giants that he can hold the mantle until Daniel Jones is recovered from his ACL. It's hard to argue that he hasn't done a good enough job. I think he's a solid number 2 quarterback.
I agree, and I don't think Jones will be back in New York. How about that, Casey Scheinfeld? I think you guys draft a quarterback.
Well, I think we're moving too far down in the draft with DeVito winning all these games that we're gonna.
No, you could. There's like 5 good quarterbacks, Casey Scheinfeld.
Yeah,
You'll be able to get some. You can move up. You'll figure it out. I have faith in your
Nix
team.
might be older than Daniel Jones.
Bo Nix is 25.
Yeah,
he could be. I think you're right. But your Giants, they keep winning. Correct. I watched it last night. I watched the last 2 minutes. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, both games were pretty big upsets. So
Justin Herbert, he's done for the year, Casey. His finger. I mean, I'm never drafting. Just put this in the book. Would you write this down? Are you ready?
I'm ready. I got it.
Ross the Boss is never drafting Justin Herbert ever again.
Never drafting Justin
ever
Herbert.
Again. He's the biggest wimp ever in football. Most overrated. He's a pretty boy surfer guy that has really is a mediocre quarterback at best. And he's not that good. He really isn't. And if you draft him, good luck to you. He's not going to win you any championships. I was lucky enough where in some of my leagues I picked him, but I also picked Tua too. So I'm starting Tua in every game. But Herbert's horrible.
Well, Tua was pretty bad last night.
Tua did not look good. But remember Tyreek Hill was hurt too. So I think if Tyreek Hill is hurt, I don't think Miami's that team that's going to win the AFC. I really don't. I think if Tyreek Hill is healthy, I think they have a great chance to win the AFC. But my pick in the AFC right now, I guess I have to go with Baltimore, Case. I mean, I don't know who else is out there.
Well, the Bills looked good this weekend.
Yeah, but everybody looks good against Kansas City. Let's talk about Kansas City, Casey. Did you watch the offsides play? And
I did.
I mean, he was offsides. It wasn't like he wasn't like.
Yeah, he was. Well, if you're looking down the line and you can't even see where the ball is because the dude's standing in front of it, he was offsides. But I wonder how many of those, if somebody went and watched every game, how many of those a game go and are not called? Because
that little baby. Now we see the true Patrick Mahomes. We see this good guy.
Well, I think what
smiling,
you're seeing,
always happy. Now we see the devil.
Yeah, you're all on your hot seat about saying all these quarterbacks are posers now all of a sudden. But no, Patrick Mahomes is probably genuinely a good-natured dude. But you play with this offense for 14 weeks where you're arguably the best quarterback in the league, but they don't give you a single wide receiver who can make smart plays or get open or find space. And you're going to be frustrated eventually too. So I think
I know he's frustrated. I get it. And that was a great play by Kelsey. I mean, the play was like a Hall of Fame play that
it was like the Music City Miracle. Remember when Nashville,
when
the Tennessee Titans did the
yes. So Tyreek Hill, he is going to be day to day. I don't know if he'll probably play this week. So if you have Tyreek Hill, just make sure he's starting. I'm just seeing some other headlines that we can talk about. Probably the worst game I've seen in 20 years.
Oh my God.
Was the Vikings Raiders. I mean, Casey. I mean, there was no score until the fourth quarter. I mean, it ended up being, what was it? Didn't they get a safety at the end? Was it 5-0? Was that the final?
No, I think the final was 3-0.
Okay. It was 3-0. I thought they did a safety at the end.
Yep.
Any other games that you watched that you want to talk about? Because then we couldn't talk about
Well, I mean, the big thing that I took away from this weekend was all of the supposed front runners look really vulnerable with the exception of the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, Brock Montana. And
I mean, you've got to consider the two best teams in the NFC right now, the 49ers and the Cowboys. As much as I hate to say that, the Cowboys are playing great. Dak Prescott, I think he's overtaken Brock for the MVP.
Well, in the Vegas he has. Dak is 1, Brock Montana is 2. It's going to come down to the last few games, obviously.
Right.
Who's the MVP? But Dak is having a great year. Brock Montana is having a great year. It's just it's amazing how these two quarterbacks are just going head to head, and they'll probably meet each other, I guess, in the NFC Championship, right?
At this rate, they would. Yeah, they'd be I mean, it depends. Well, if Dallas overtakes Philly to win the division, I think they might still be in second in the division. I'm not sure, but if they overtake it, then yeah, they're the 1 and 2 seeds. But if Dallas doesn't win the division, then I don't know how it'll work out because the seeds change with each game.
Let's talk waiver wire. Let's talk quarterback position, Casey. I got to bring it up, and the team's right behind me is the Cincinnati Bengals and Jake Browning. I mean, he's owned in 27% of the leagues, so he could be available in your league.
Yeah.
I mean, is this guy somebody that you would start at quarterback in the playoffs in fantasy football?
I don't know.
Okay, let's play the game. Mahomes or Jake Browning? Okay.
I'm still taking Mahomes every time.
CJ Stroud is hurt.
Yeah, he's concussed. So
I don't know if he'll pass protocol this weekend. We'll see what happens.
Look, right now I would probably play him above Geno Smith if he's healthy, Russell Wilson, Baker Mayfield, that kind of class of players. I don't want to put him up there with Stafford or Tua or Trevor Lawrence yet. But I mean, he's got the offense. They're playing Minnesota, whose defense has been playing pretty good. But yeah, I mean, he's got to be a consideration if you're running out those other guys I just talked about.
Yeah, I agree. What are the quarterbacks do you like this week? Let's say I need a quarterback and I'm not too sure on, like, Justin Herbert's down. Let's say I need to pick somebody up. Who would be the first guy to pick up?
I don't think Baker Mayfield versus Green Bay is a bad idea. He's 53% owned.
Yep.
Desmond Ridder put up huge numbers this past week.
Yeah. What's the deal with him? I mean, Casey, it's like every week I always feel he has like 300 yards. I really do.
Yeah. And Drake London looked good and Bijan Robinson looked good. So and they're going at Carolina. So it's not the worst matchup for him. He would be somebody who, if I was desperate, I would consider. Derek Carr, if he's healthy, maybe.
He sucks. Derek Carr's,
I would. Matt Stafford is only 57% owned.
I like Stafford. Carr, like, he had 2 touchdowns in the second half. That's why he was saved in fantasy. But he just blows. He's horrible. I mean, he really.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan, but if you're desperate, if you have CJ Stroud and you find out he's not going,
I'm going to bring a name up that no one wanted this guy, and he's been playing great. I mean, this guy. He hasn't been in the league in over a year. Is Joe Flacco?
Yeah, I love it.
And I don't know. It's because Dr. Dan Ratner all of a sudden gave up, and he's not a Browns fan anymore. And then Flacco comes in, and he looks like the old Flacco from before, or maybe it's just their game plan where they hand the ball off, and then they have some room and they can throw it. And Flacco.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be honest. They're going against Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, Flacco to me is not a bad start. I mean, I rather start him than half the league. I mean,
I'd start him over, Bryce Young. Zach Wilson had a great game this past weekend, and he's going at Miami, so it's also not a terrible matchup. Now they have pretty good corners in Xavier Howard and what's his face, Mr. Pickoff, Ramsey.
I mean, Mitch Trubisky's just horrible. I watched him play this weekend.
Mitch
Trubisky blows. Another guy that's horrible. It's just he shouldn't even be playing. I mean, he misses so many players that are open. He doesn't throw them to. He's horrible, Casey. He's horrible. Any other quarterbacks? Well, if not, then we'll talk about running backs. Casey, again, we had the running back position is a few guys that I do like, and I'll start it off. I like Ty Chandler, even though they was a horrible game, and but Ty Chandler got the ball a lot. Yep. And Alexander Madison is dealing with a possible high ankle sprain, so I don't know if he's playing next week. So Ty Chandler will be getting the ball a lot against the Cincinnati Bengals. So it could be a good pickup, and he's available in like 78% of leagues.
Right. You got Brian Robinson, who's hurt, so Antonio Gibson suddenly not a bad pickup at only 54% owned.
Is Brian Robinson playing?
They're not sure. He's questionable right now.
So I have Antonio Gibson in our
how about
Dynasty League. And we play each other.
How about your Bengals, Chase Brown?
Amazing.
2 weeks in a row, man.
Amazing. He's a must pick up. I mean, I was going to get to him. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, his yards and his stats are just amazing. He knocked off a big run, last week. The Bengals are playing really well. They are in the playoff hunt. I mean, I'm curious to see what happens if they make the playoffs. Can Burrow, will he be ready for the playoffs? Is there any chance at all, Casey?
I have no idea. I haven't looked,
because I know he's out for a while, but I was just thinking like, okay, if the Bengals make the playoffs and they're ready to roll in the second week of January, I wonder if Burrow will be ready. I don't know. Any other running backs that you think we should pick up for this week? I mean, again, I know most of the people have their running backs already locked in. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the handcuffs for the guys you have if you're playing in the playoffs. But, I mean, look, Kenneth Gainwell has been getting more carries than I thought he would at this point in the Eagles' backfield. He's got on almost a share level with DeAndre Swift. So that's somebody else you can monitor during the week. But again, it's not somebody you're going to trust throwing out there as an RB1 or 2 in a playoff game.
I agree. I don't know when Pacheco's coming back. So if you can get Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Oh, see, I would go with McKinnon. Considering how bad the pass catchers are in Kansas City, I'm sure Patrick wants McKinnon out there.
I mean, do their wide receivers, they drop almost like they said some stat, and it's like it's never happened like so high of drop balls in any team ever. I mean, I just don't know why they don't draft wide receivers in Kansas City. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
They draft defense, great, but you have probably the best quarterback in the league, and he has no one to throw. There's no one to throw to. I mean, they're all these guys can't catch. I just don't get it. So let's talk wide receivers, Casey, and then we'll, if anybody has any questions, so they should start this week. I know people are in playoffs. We can answer them.
We're happy to.
But we know a lot of people are trading right now, so we're not getting the trade questions. I get it. Let's talk wide receivers, Casey. Who's your number one wide receiver I should pick up this week?
Odell Beckham.
Tell me why.
Well, because he's not very much owned right now, but he's only 43% owned. But if you look at his lines from the last games, it's like last week he had
97,
10 targets, 4 receptions, 97 and a touchdown. 5 targets the week before that, 7 targets the week before that. And the 2 weeks before that, he had touchdown catches. So he's absolutely a part of this offense now. And so why would you not, target him? I don't understand why he's not owned in more leagues at this point.
I don't either. I think it's just people they're just not all with them because
and he's not a player that's very well liked.
No, he's very selfish. Another guy I like that you brought up before, he plays for your Commanders, is Curtis Samuel. He's 35% owned, and the Commanders had a bye week last week.
Right.
And he's up and down, but I do like him this week. I think he'll have a good week this week. I wish I had him in some of my other leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Noah Brown.
Yeah, especially if Nico Collins is hurt.
I don't think he's coming back. Who's been playing great is Elijah Moore.
Yeah,
he's been playing great for Joe Flacco and him. They're playing great. I mean, together, I like him a lot. Any other wide receivers, Casey? I'm kind of looking at my list. There's nobody that I'm like saying, "Oh my God, you got to start this guy."
I like Josh Downs in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Especially, they're at home against Pittsburgh, so it's a dome, so you're guaranteed good weather. I know you're not a big fan of Justin Herbert, and he's not playing. It's Easton Stick. Is that
Stick, great name, Easton Stick.
Yeah, interesting.
North Dakota State, college. It's again. I wouldn't start anybody on the Chargers right now. I just think they're going downhill.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is, I have Eckler, and he's killing me.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. I still Jaden Reed is 62% owned in Green Bay, and Romeo Dobbs is 60% owned, and they're going against Tampa Bay, which is not a very good defense against the pass. So that could bode well for them. Although 1 week we talk about Jordan Love being considered a really, really good quarterback and maybe proving himself, and then he has a game like he does last night. So I'm not sure how much you trust him, but it's against Tampa Bay, which is a good defense for wide receivers.
Yeah, I mean, Tampa Bay. Funny about Tampa Bay, Casey, they're in first place in their division.
I know. Although I like Atlanta the way they're playing right now too. So.
I like Atlanta. I don't trust Atlanta. I hate their coach. I think he should be fired. Arthur Smith is just horrible. With their talent, they should be over 500. They're not. Let's talk tight end position, Casey. Who do you like this week? I'll tell you who I like.
Go for it.
I like Logan Thomas, and he's playing here in SoFi against the Rams.
Yeah.
The Rams don't cover the tight end well, and Logan Thomas is due for a big game.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel that Thomas will actually have a great week, and he could be a great start. He's available in over 50% of leagues right now.
Yeah.
Is Darren Waller? Is he coming back anytime soon?
He's eligible to come off the IR. But is saying he hopes to play in week 15 against the Saints.
See, I have him in our dynasty league, but also have Isaiah Likely. So I'm probably going to play Likely.
Yeah, I would play Likely there.
I mean, as much as I like Waller, but he just doesn't have consistency in quarterback right now.
Right. And you don't know if he's going to be, he could go out there for 2 plays and pull up lame with a hammy.
Yeah.
So I like somebody who we were high on in the preseason was Okonkwo from Tennessee. We thought he was going to do pretty well. He seems to have developed a nice connection with Will Levis, and now they're going against Houston this weekend. So that's not the worst matchup in the world if you're desperate, I guess. But it's tight end, so you don't expect greatness at tight end for most of the players.
No, did you see? I'm changing subjects right now. Did you see the Bengal game at all? How Joe Burrow gave his suite to Jake Browning.
I read about it. I didn't see it. I
Oh
thought
my God! It was like he must have went to a strip club and got all these girls to come to the suite. These were like the hottest girls you've ever seen. I mean, it was like unbelievable.
Joe Burrow's just proven to be a genuinely good dude, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he lets Browning just use his suite, and Browning says, "Okay, I'll invite all these girls," which is great. And it just made me laugh. It was just you could just tell like those girls are just so happy to be there, and they've never been to a football game before, and they're sitting in the suite, which is great. And it was a smoke show too. I mean, those girls were hot. Unbelievable.
I didn't see it.
Hot. Casey, let's talk defenses. I love talking. We'll play the old defense game. I stream my defense. I talk about this every week. I stream it. I don't keep the same defense. I don't draft a defense high when we do our draft. I don't really care that much. I just look for sweet matchups and pick a defense. So the Falcons are at Carolina. What do you think?
I love it. I really do. I mean, they've been playing. Their defense is a lot more solid than people give them credit for to begin with. And I mean, Carolina does not have much of an offensive.
No, they're horrible
repertoire. Another team I like is your Bengals.
Who do we play? Oh, we play Minnesota.
Minnesota at home in
with
Cincinnati
Mullins.
with Mullins at quarterback. I just think that you guys are going to tee off on him. So I
am taking Cincinnati in our survivor pool, which I'm still alive because
you lost though last week.
I lost, but I have one strike. I'm still good. I'm still in it. I'm not eliminated yet. So
how many of you are left?
I don't know. I haven't checked. So another team I like, Casey, are the Colts. You talked about how bad Pittsburgh is. I think the Colts are a good start. I think Trubisky will throw some more interceptions, or whoever quarterback is. The Raiders are at home against the Chargers. I know you're saying, why would I start the Raiders defense? Because the Chargers are starting this quarterback named Stick.
Easton Stick.
And their offense looked horrible last week.
Yeah.
So I don't think the Raiders is not a bad defense.
I just don't I don't trust the Raiders. I mean, who knows? Austin Eckler could run for 200 yards and 3 touches.
Okay, here's a good one. The Titans are at home against Houston.
Depends if Stroud is playing.
I don't think Stroud's playing. They rarely have players play that are on the concussion list.
Yeah, but if I had told you Jacksonville was going against Joe Flacco and the Browns,
yeah, you're right.
You would have said good play, but Joe Flacco just torched him for 31 points.
So who's your number one defense to start that I mentioned?
Of those, Atlanta.
The Bears are playing at Cleveland.
Atlanta, then Cincinnati.
How about the Rams at home against Washington?
No. Sam, a mobile quarterback scares me no matter how good your offense is, how good your defense is. Sam Howell could run 2 in. So
the Rams were so close to beating Baltimore in Baltimore last week, too. It was so close. I was rooting for them, obviously, but it was just Baltimore at home are just, if they get home field advantage in the AFC, I really think they'll win the AFC. I really do. I don't think anybody.
It's hard. Yeah, I mean, nobody's playing dominant right now in the AFC. I think the Bills would give them the best run in a title game.
But I don't trust the Bills either.
I don't, but that's what I mean. But who do you trust, right? That's the point of the AFC right now. If anybody, if the Browns defense, is as good as it's been at points this season.
No, they've been horrible the past few games.
I know. If it gets back to where it's been earlier in the season, I don't trust the Browns much less than I trust anybody else at this point. Yeah, that's how weird it is in the AFC right now.
I mean, people are saying, the Browns, their defense can keep in the game, blah, blah, blah. And their defense has not been keeping the games. It's their offenses that keep in the games.
It used to keep them in the game.
They used to. I don't know. I think some injuries, I guess.
There must be some injuries.
I mean, I think that one DB's hurt. Ford, I think. No, that's not Ford, but I forgot his name, but they have an all-pro defensive back that's sidelined right now.
Yeah.
I forgot his name. But Flacco's been playing. Cleveland's in the playoffs right now.
I know. They're what, 8-5?
Yeah. And Dr. Dan Ratner, he jumped ship, and all of a sudden they're a playoff team.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's unbelievable, this guy.
Like, you watch the Eagles, the Dolphins, the Chiefs, the Lions, like all of these kind of front runners all year long just lay an egg this weekend. It was
the Lions overrated.
It's funny. Like 4 weeks ago, you were saying they're your second best team in the NFC, and now you're saying they're overrated.
Overrated. Eagles. I'll tell you what the problem with the Eagles is. I'll tell you right now.
Okay.
Last year they had a running game. They really did. Their running backs had good years. This year the running game stinks. Horrible. Casey Scheinfeld. The running game is not the same. It's not the same. I don't know what happened. I don't know if they lost some offensive linemen. I don't know if people are hurt. I have no idea what's going on. But I'm just telling you right now, their running game is not doing what they did last year, and it's not the same team. They beat some teams barely to have that great record. I get it. But the Eagles, to me, are way overrated. I hate Eagle fans. They're the most obnoxious people I know.
Yeah.
Worse than Cowboy fans. They really are. And I'm just telling you, and I'm just saying right now that the Eagles will not be in the championship game if it's played this week, period.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the Niners with Brock Montana in the NFC. And, I think we'll see like some long shots come in. I think a team like the Rams or a team like.
Well, heck, if the Giants keep winning, they're in the playoffs.
Did you see their locker room? How pumped up they were after that win last night? I mean, those guys were pumped. And between you and I, they're not making the playoffs.
No I know they're not. But it makes us feel better.
But I love the enthusiasm. I really do. I mean, I said, well, I hope Casey's watching this.
What's their remaining schedule? Let me look.
I mean, the Giants, to me, is just a good story. It's a feel-good story, just because they have this quarterback that no one wanted. He lives at home with this. This is true. I'm not making this up. He lives at home with his mom. His mom makes his bed for him every day. Okay. And
that's a good
this guy's like the toast of New York. He's sitting at the Knick game on Saturday.
Yeah, I know.
He's sitting courtside. This guy's the man. I mean, in New York, he's showing up to parties and he's showing up to strip clubs and putting him on stage. He's waving to everybody. I mean, he's taking advantage of this because I don't think he'll have the same job next year. So, you know what? DeVito, do what you can do. I mean,
the Giants have New Orleans, then the Eagles, then the Rams, then the Eagles again.
They play the Eagles twice?
Twice. They haven't played them yet this year.
I would love to see you guys knock off the Eagles twice.
Could you imagine?
Really would.
Tommy DeVito would be bigger than Joe Namath.
If he knocked off, I'm just telling you right now, if he knocks off the Eagles twice.
He's your starter next year. He's Brock Purdy.
I'm buying a DeVito jersey for you. You have to wear it every day next
I will.
year. Because it's an unbelievable story. I mean, it really is. I mean, this kid, University of Illinois, I mean, seriously?
Yep.
It sounds like, but I do like the story. I do like DeVito. Barkley's done nothing this year. And I mean, I don't know how the Giants win. They have the worst receiving core in the league. Barkley's not the same player he was 3 years ago. He's really lost this. He really has. Hate to say it. He's lost.
Well, he's had so many injuries. Eventually, I guess his legs were going to fail.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, DeVito had like 70 yards rushing. I mean, it's like,
yeah.
It's unbelievable what's happening with Tommy DeVito. I just think it's a great story, and it's a fairy tale story. I don't, again, I really don't think he'll be your starting quarterback next year. But he's won 3 in a row. Not bad.
Yeah.
I think your coach could save his job.
Yeah, I think he has saved his job. I think Dable was on a free roll this year.
You do?
Getting them into the playoffs last year when nobody thought about it, I think it was a pre-roll, a free
and
roll.
I'd love to have Tennessee won last night. I love that. I really do. I love the coach for Tennessee, Grable, right?
Mike Vrabel, Vrabel.
Yeah, I love him. I think he's a great coach, enthusiastic. He looks like he can still play. He's a huge, big guy. But I really feel last night just proves how close the NFL is with anybody can beat anybody.
Yep.
I mean, you had a team that was favored by over 10 points to win the game away. And then you had Green Bay Green Bay has not lost a game in December in like 3 years. And they lost last night to a team that's not that good, the Giants.
Well, let's not say that now.
Well, you're a little biased, but you know what I mean.
Come on. They're not that.
I mean, everybody had Green Bay winning that game. You know I'm right.
Oh, yeah. So did I.
I mean, you gave up. I was like, oh, yeah, they have to play the game, Casey.
Well, I've wanted them to lose for the last 4 weeks, and they decided to start winning. I wanted Marvin Harrison. Although, like,
just so you know, he might not come out.
I was going to say all the papers around here, because I'm in the Big Ten territory, so they talk about Ohio State, or that he's making as much as $21 million next year if he stays in college, which is tremendously more than he can make in the pros.
In a rookie contract, yeah.
I mean,
so what do I do? Would I stay in college and be around all the co-eds and have fun?
Yeah.
Or would I play in the NFL
and make more money?
It's like, there's no. I would play in college another year.
Yeah.
I mean, I still don't understand, where does the NIL money come from?
It comes from sponsors, like local businesses, national businesses.
So they have 21 million. They find $21 million to give to this guy.
The different companies that want him as a spokesperson. Yeah, I think it goes through the university. We'll give you X amount of dollars, and then I think the university ends up acting as a broker. I'd have to read it more closely.
That's a little
sketchy to me. But
so what's
but like if Chevrolet wants Marvin Harrison Jr. as a spokesperson, they'll say, "Hey Marvin, we'll give you $4 million a year to do commercials."
Do what? I don't see any commercials with him in it.
But I'm just saying, or wear our gear or whatever.
I get it.
It's crazy.
I mean, $21 million for one guy.
Well,
what do you tell me next? A guy's going to make $700 million for the Dodgers?
Well,
Is that the next thing you're telling me?
Not to change sports, but we've made fun of the New York Mets and Bobby Bonilla for the past 25 years, right? Because there's Bobby Bonilla Day where they offer him $1 million. They have to pay him $1 million.
$1.3. It goes up every year. Every year.
Because of interest. But like Shohei Ohtani is deferring $68 million a year of his $70 million annual contract. So like they're going to have Bobby Bonilla Day on steroids. Shohei's going to be like, today's when I get $65 million. Today's when I get $75 million until he's like 60.
You got to remember, this guy in Japan makes a lot of money.
Well, they're saying it just in sponsorships alone, he makes 40 plus, 44, $45 million a year. So even though he's only taking $2 million of his salary, it's not like he's hurting financially.
No, I was going to do a GoFundMe for him, but I decided not to. I don't think a GoFundMe for him.
Yeah, he's not into that kind of attention. I don't think
he wants the press. But yeah, again, I don't know if it's a good thing for sports or a bad thing for sports, but I mean, that kind of money for one player is kind of ludicrous. Whatever.
Yeah.
God bless him. So I'm glad he's making it. I hope he gives a lot back to communities. That's all.
Yeah. I think, he's allegedly a great guy. So like everybody said, he's humble and kind and fun, but $70 million, like that's just insane. Like I remember when Kevin Brown for the Padres in the late 90s, 98 maybe, signed the biggest contract ever where he was getting 10 years, like $108 million or whatever his contract was. And they were like, oh my God, somebody's getting more than $100 million in a contract. He's getting that in 14 months, 15 months, like nuts.
It is. But remember, on the other side, the Dodgers are going to make a lot of money on jerseys, T-shirts.
Oh, they're going to be all over Japan.
I mean, in Japan, they have on the 17th of every month, Japan, it's seriously, everybody wears Ohtani jersey because he's number 17. They all wear it to work. They all wear it out. I mean, it's like a tradition in Japan. That's how much they love Ohtani. And so they're going to sell all these Dodger jerseys. And right in time for Christmas, Casey Scheinfeld. Is that a shocker? No.
Amazing, huh?
Yeah, what a coincidence. Christmas time and little Johnny wants an Ohtani jersey. Come on. But yeah, I mean, I was kind of shocked. I wasn't shocked. I thought I said $700 million. Actually, that's how much they're going to pay him. I was actually right on that one.
There you go.
People laughed at me. They said, "No, I'm going to pay him that much." I said, "Yeah, they are. They really are." So, Casey, let's talk football. Let's talk this week coming up. It's kind of a weird week, Casey Scheinfeld, with football, and then I'll go. Now, the schedule this week is weird because there's like three Saturday
Thursday,
games.
3 Saturday, and then a bunch of
Thursday we have the Eagles Seahawks, right?
Thursday is the Chargers and the Raiders.
Oh, right. Monday night is
Eagles at Seattle.
Right. I went ahead. So Chargers, Raiders.
I'm going to avoid the Thursday night game.
Every week it's a horrible, like, Jeff Bezos.
A lot of horrible games.
I mean, Jeff Bezos in the NFL.
They hate him. They hate him.
They hate him. So Friday there's no game. Saturday we got 3 games: Minnesota, Cincinnati, Should be high scoring. The over under. Oh, the over under is only 38.
That's not going to be high scoring. Minnesota just scored 3 points total.
No, I think it's going to be high scoring. I think they'll bounce back. Nah. And Moan's out a whole week to practice. Pittsburgh is at the Colts. That could be low scoring.
Yep, that's going to be terrible. Denver at Detroit. I think Detroit should put up points, but Denver's defense has been pretty good.
Denver's no joke.
Yeah.
I mean, Denver really, I mean, you and I counted them out like in October. You said they're done. And I have it on tape, so I can prove it.
No, you can't.
I can't. You're right. Just call your bluff. But it should that's a good game. Cincinnati, Minnesota is going to be a good game. So Sunday, Kansas City, New England. That sounds like a war fest, but I think New England could give them a good game. The spread's 9.5.
It's at New England. The weather could be brutal.
I think New England will give them a tough game. I really do. I don't know if they're going to win, but I say they keep it under 7. You heard from me first, Ross the Boss.
Okay.
The Jets are playing at home. The Jets are away at Miami. Miami has to bounce back.
It depends how if Tyreek Hill is healthy, it's not a problem. If he's not, I don't rule the Jets out in that game.
I like it. I root for Zach Wilson because
I like the kid. I don't think he's been given a fair
do too.
deal.
I think people are harsh on him, and I like his mom too, for many reasons.
Or his best friend.
Chicago and the Browns in Chicago. That sounds like a war fest, but I don't know. I don't know how much scoring's going to be.
Tampa Bay, Green Bay. There's no game Sunday.
I'm thinking there's a game Dallas that I'm going to sit down
Dallas
and watch.
at Buffalo is the only one I'm excited to see.
That's a 4:00 game for you, Casey Scheinfeld, and it's in Buffalo, so it's going to be cold as hell.
Yep.
That's the best game. Well, this game's pretty good, Casey. The 5:00 game's not bad.
Oh, I mean,
Baltimore
Jacksonville just gave up 31 points to Cleveland. Like they to me are the LA Chargers of the East Coast.
But they have more wins than the Chargers.
Yeah. That's because they're in a worse division.
You know, they haven't lost a game on the road. I mean, this year.
Yeah, but they're at home.
I saw that, but it's amazing how well they play away.
I think Baltimore could put up 35 in that game.
I think so too. I think Lamar Jackson is going to play a good game. So yeah, I mean the schedule this week. I'm not. And then we got Monday night. The Eagles are at Seattle.
I think that's going to be a bounce back game for the Eagles, where they're just going to.
I don't know about that. Seattle's a tough place to play.
DK Metcalf has been a beast the last few weeks. And
did you see how? Who did they play last week? The Seattle.
I have it right here. Hold on.
Who did Seattle play last week?
Seattle played at San Francisco.
So the coach of San Francisco told his team, whoever gets underneath DK Metcalf's skin will get a really good Christmas gift from me. Yeah. And what happens in the game? DK Metcalf has a spaz attack.
Yep.
So
maturity has always been the question for him. So
no, it's pretty fast though.
Yeah, he is.
But Casey, good luck this week. Fantasy football.
I have two of my teams start the playoffs this weekend, and I made the playoffs in both. And I have one that actually doesn't start till 16, and I made the playoffs in that one. So
wow, Casey Scheinfeld, it shows you hard work pays off.
Although I missed the playoff in the 6 other leagues I'm in, so let's be honest.
Yeah, those weren't big. Those weren't big leagues, though. The ones you care about is the league I'm in with you, and the other.
That one, the MFSN league, I did not have a good year. So
yeah, but you're in the playoffs.
No, I'm not. I'm like 10th place.
What's the name of your team?
I don't know. I'd have to look. But I know I'm not in the playoffs.
I think you're wrong.
Well, I hope you're right.
I play you.
You play me in our sleeper league.
That's
our dynasty league.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, the dynasty league.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the MFSN league.
Oh, no, I'm in first place in that league.
And they might be giants. I think I'm in 10th.
Oh, yeah, you're horrible in that league. But the sleeper league, I play you. I'm looking at it.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
So I should start Antonio Gibson, you're saying?
I think you should start Joe Burrow.
Is Jonathan Taylor playing next week?
I'm going to say yes.
Oh, good. I have him too.
Even because he's not.
Oh.
But I want you to start him.
That's it, Casey. I got to go.
The war is on.
The war is on. I'm looking at all my people on my IL too right now.
Know.
It's pathetic. All right, okay, so I'll see you Thursday, 1:00.
Yep, 4 o'clock Eastern, same time.
4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Western. I'm Ross the Boss. That's Casey Vlad to the Bone Scheinfeld. We'll see you on Thursday with Dr. Dan Ratner. Thanks for watching.
Good night.